we live in, and when I say that, you know, what kind of world we live in, you know, probably different things go through people's heads. You know? I was going to say we live in an amazing time right now, okay? And when you think about the time we live in, there's technology that's moving things ahead like crazy, and everybody's like trying to catch up, it seems, all the time. Especially when I think of the half-life of some things, I think when you could, you know, leave the horse in the barn and get in the car. I mean, now that had to change things around kind of unbelievable as well. I mean, these are some things that really step people up and change them. And it all has to do, when you talk about, you know, the world we live in is changing so quickly we can't keep up with, where the world we live in is an amazing place, you know, how we look at that, that we all have a view that we have, that we all have. We all have a unique world view. And it comes from how we nurture our thinking. Our thinking is fed by both our environment and our condition. And the reason I bring this up, everybody has a different view of the world from where they are. And if you remember from some of the things we talked about in the past, some of you that have heard me speak in the past, we talked about the personal brand. So it's not just what we say, it's what we repeatedly say. And that's important when it's talking about making up a personal brand. So we're going to help with that. We're going to get proactive with our self-talk. And when we catch ourselves doing something right, we're going to say, that's like me. And we catch ourselves doing something that's not so right, we're going to say, that's not like me. All right? Now, you may say, well, Jim, does this stuff work? And I'm going to tell you, this stuff works. Okay? You'd be amazed the phone calls I get during the year when we have these little conversations together of people who call me and tell me how things work. And they say, I tried that, and I feel so much better for that. And I'm like, well, yes, that's great. You know, just a little thing like this, because instead of beating yourself up, what do we say when things don't go? Oh, I knew I couldn't do that. That was, you know, that thing went in the woods. I knew I was going to slice that thing. I knew it before I hit it. That's why it went in the woods, because you knew it before you hit it. You know, so you got to get, you know, when you do it, that's not like me. I can do that better. You know, that's like me. If you do it well, give yourself a compliment, give yourself a hand. You know, that's how it works. So never put yourself down. That's the worst thing you can do. And even if you're doing it in thoughts, because remember, that subconscious mind is feeding your mind, right? And you have to keep that in mind when you're talking to yourself. What are you saying? What are you saying when you talk to yourself? There's actually a book of that picture. So think about this. It's something that's good. Henry Ford was one. You'll see him twice in it, actually, because he was good with a lot of things. You know, not just cars. Okay, he was good with, actually, he was good with people. You know, which made him really who he was. But this, I can't do math, or, you know, I can't remember names. I mean, how many times have we heard, I'm not a morning person? I mean, you just talked yourself right out of it. You know, don't do that. That's not how we can do math. We can be a morning person. Okay, we can remember names. You decide if you want to remember it or not. Okay, or ask if you forgot. You know, right? And not to forget. You know, you don't want to be embarrassed by that, but that's the thing. So these are things, some things you can do, which all also take place with the environment, but also about our conditioning. And we talked about this a little bit before as well, but it's a good review for the conditioning side, because people don't realize how conditioned they have become, and they think just because they are, that they're positively conditioned sometimes, and that's not always the case, even though we need to be that way. So help me out here, and we'll see if I'm assuming you're conditioned, or if you really are conditioned. All right? Children should be seen and not heard. All right? Most of you had that, right? Okay, let's try this one. Don't speak unless spoken to. Okay, you all had that one. Good. How about this one? If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. That can be kind of negative, huh? Okay? But here's one of the worst ones. Okay? If at first you don't succeed, try again. Okay, what's wrong with that? It's assuming it's And what side of the scale here? What side of our page here is the word try? Right. We should have been conditioned. It should have said, if at first you don't succeed, get up and do it right. Okay? Get up and do it again. And get up and keep doing it till you get it right. Okay? Because that's not like you. Right? But to try again, although our parents meant well, and their parents meant well, and everybody meant well, it's kind of on the reactive side. It's kind of on the negative side. You know, and like, I'm walking and saying, hey Jim, I'll try to give you a call next week. Okay, when? Well, next week. Okay, next week comes. What do we say? I'll give you a call Wednesday afternoon. I'll give you a call Wednesday afternoon. Not, I'll try to give you a call next week. I know we didn't have that. Okay. Okay. But again, the word try. But here's one that's really not, all that positive. Okay. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Exactly. And that has to be, as far as what we're concerned, something that can hurt every single one of us in this. Really, what does it imply? That we can't what? We can't change. Because what it implies is we can't change, and we can change. And we can change because that's like us. Because we can do that. Right? So we can change. And all we have to do is we have to have the right motivation. We have to have what will motivate us that we want to change. We have to learn to adapt. When I said earlier that we live in a world that is amazing. We live in a world that's changing and technology is moving. When I said that in the beginning, think about the better you can adapt and change today, how much less stressful are you than if you just try to keep going down that path where everybody's trying to kick you off. Okay? But if you can adapt and change your attitude, your mental attitude, something we have control over, okay, our attitude, it's so much better. So what motivates people to change? Now we're getting into the meat of this thing. Now we're going to get into it. Okay? So what motivates us? But before we answer that question, let's answer one other question. What is our most productive day at work? Well, somebody has to know. The day before vacation. You're right. That is the most productive day at work. The day before you go on vacation. Now, why? A reason. Okay? Why is the day before vacation the most productive day in work? You should really give people vacation every other day. You can work so much less and get so much more done. Do you ever see somebody going on vacation? Try to interrupt somebody who's going on vacation the next day. Oh, no way. They got a list that's this long. Okay, they're crossing off and they're kicking you out of the office. They're standing. They got rid of their chair. They have no time. They have no time. And you know why? Because they don't want to, one of two things. They don't want to come back to it, or they don't want to think about it while they're away. Two very good reasons. Right, two very good reasons. Now, here's three other good reasons, okay, as well. But the point is, you can see, you've got to give them a reason. If you want to motivate someone, you've got to find out what is that little button that I got to push. Granted, it took me 10 years for my son. But anyway, that's another story. We're not going to get into it. But, what button am I going to push to get this done? Well, fear's a button. And actually, fear can save your life. Or fear can keep you from getting hurt. So sometimes you don't have time to reason. Sometimes you just got grabbed by the throat, and that's your motivation. Okay? Because then they're going to get hurt if you don't do that. Right? But passion, and I could have used desire. But I thought passion was more, I could use burning desire. But I thought passion kind of gets it, Because desire, you can desire something, but if you're passionate about it, then, you're going to get something done. But my very favorite is constructive discontent. And I love constructive discontent. Constructive discontent is why we don't go outside to use the bathroom anymore. Okay? Constructive discontent is why we don't ride horses anymore. Constructive discontent is why we can flick that switch and get light. We don't have to light a candle. Constructive discontent is a great reason to grow. It's not somebody just complaining on the wrong side of the page here about something they don't like. It's somebody who's doing something constructive to change it. Constructive discontent is one of the most motivating aspects that you can have in your mind, that little creative thing in your mind to make you want to improve something, invent something, make something better. We're merging ideas together. You might wonder to yourself, that little thing on your chair today, you got a couple things here that were merged together. Right? This is a bumper sticker in the 50s. Forrest Gill got a piece of paper in this hand, and he had something new that was invented called the pressure-sensitive label kind of in this hand, and he's watching people wire their bumpers and these little chipboard things on their bumpers, and he's saying there's got to be a better way to do that. So he took the piece of paper and the pressure-sensitive label, and he married them together, and he got himself a bumper sticker. The other thing that Mr. Gill didn't have access to was the adhesive that's on this. It's 3M. It's not permanent. I could put this on that wall, I can put this on my laptop, I can put this on your car, and it will peel off without leaving any residue. The adhesive on this sticker is called dispersion adhesive, and it's a good adhesive and it'll come off. Okay, just so you know that, in case you do put it on something that you want to get it off. All right? But two good ideas brought together for a different result, but a very good result. Okay? I have to tell you the Swiffer story. How many people use the Swiffer? Okay, Procter & Gamble's greatest golden goose. Okay? Well, that started out years ago with a stick and a sponge. Okay? And they called it a sponge mop, right? That's how that started. So you got to get the dirt on the floor, wet it, make it muddy, and stick it in your bucket, and then spread it around a little more and get muddy. You know, and Procter & Gamble said, there's got to be a better way to do it. So Procter & Gamble gets their chemists. You know, they have the best chemists in the world. You know, they're out in Cincinnati. I see the place all the time. That's where my one daughter lives, in Cincinnati. And they get all these chemists, and they can't figure out how to make a better mop. Okay, stick with a sponge. Two good ideas. Pretty decent idea. Don't have to bend over anyway. You know, that helps. And so what they do is they hire an outside firm, and they decide, well, we're not as good as the chemists. They're just going in the lab. We're not going to find anything that they don't know there. So they go around and videotape people mopping their floors. Okay, that's what they do. They videotape, and they watch them mopping their floors, and they're videotaping in the lab. They're watching the videotape of people mopping their floor. They said it was quite boring. Okay? But what happened was in one of the test groups that they had at somebody's house, they dropped a coffee pot full of coffee grounds. And the older lady who lived there said, no, I'll get it. And she got the broom, and she swept the coffee grounds together. And she got a couple paper towels, and she sapped up, and she got it so clean. And they're all standing there, and that's where they got the Swiffer idea. Okay? After all that other stuff, how much money do you think that Swiffer idea is worth? $500 million. That's the Swift idea. Two ideas coming together to make a better idea. We continue. The Mastermind Alliance, Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie, in the molding of our country, probably were two of the greatest Mastermind Alliance people that ever lived. Okay, Andrew Carnegie was the steel man. Okay, he built this country. You know, he was the guy. But did he know everything about steel? No. Did Henry Ford know everything about cars? No. But they found people that did, and they put them at the table, as we kind of call them, like the board of directors, or we call them, a brainstorming group or something like that. But in a mastermind, in a mastermind alliance, in a harmonious mastermind alliance, the harmonious is the key word. If you can get two or more people around a table that are in harmony and going in a positive, purposeful direction, they have the brains of 3 or more people. If you get 3, it's 3 or more. If you get 4, it's 4 or more. Because they can tap into everybody's expertise and everybody's knowledge, and they can use it to make that better idea. Okay? And so that's what this is. And Henry Ford, I like his name. He liked to call it organized energy. And I like that as much as I like Mastermind Alliance. Organized energy, because you get it in there, but it's got to be harmonious. If you have anybody at the table who's not harmonious, you got to get them out. No matter how smart they are, no how many good at it, they got to get off the bus, because they're going to ruin the entire thing. And that's the principle. And this is a principle actually taught by Napoleon Hill. Okay, it's called the Mastermind Alliance principle. I know it's kind of, but that's what it's called, and it's excellent. Right? But this is a principle taught by him, that organized energy. When you can put that together with 2 or more people, you become smarter. Your knowledge increases, your experience increases, because what you're doing is you're pulling from that other knowledge. And again, it fits in to what we're talking about. In this day and age, with everything moving and going forward, you need more of that brain power. That's why I bring up the Mastermind Alliance. You need more people to pull from to keep things moving forward, because the world is moving so fast. TSI wants to continue to save and grow in your accounts and do a very good job at it. We're committed to helping you reach that level of success that you're looking for. Okay? We care about being a contributor. We know you're not here today just because you might have bought a product or we provided a service. You're here today because you have a good confidence in us that if we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it, and we will. We see this as a greater opportunity to spend more time in your business and more time when we can be a contributor, because we're going to know more areas of your business, right? And we feel that what's in it for you is to save and grow.